I really want to make this video about why I went to embodied intimacy training with my wife, starting in the 2018 module, and I'm doing this video to encourage some men who potentially, or couples, but mostly I do this for men, like to really feel into like if this is the right thing for you. The short story behind me finding my way into this training was that in 2018, me and my wife, we took part of a 6-month-long circling Europe training in Amsterdam, which was all about like how to really stay in touch with what happens within yourself and noticing it and being able to communicate it, what happens moment to moment. And it was great, but I remember like a moment in that training when people wanted to kind of roll around with each other on the floor and wrestle and play fight a bit. And I really got stuck in my body feeling like I can talk with people about deep subjects, but it's very hard for me to engage with them physically. And it was easy in the past to touch maybe some women by comforting touch or seducing touch, but I had always felt like really awkward to giving a friend a hug that's a bit longer than just like a hug, or even like I remember like a friend coming over who feels much free in his body, and it was the first time we met and he was sharing something from his heart, and it's just like when he was speaking, he put his hand on my leg, and I remember like my whole body freezing as he was speaking and holding his hand on my leg. And I got all these homophobic ideas in my mind, like maybe he's gay, and like and so now I know that he's not gay and he doesn't have anything that in him. And yet over time it started to make me feel really jealous that I'm feeling limited with not having a freedom to feel at ease with touch, both receiving touch and giving touch. And this was actually one of the main reasons why I got interested in the embodied intimacy training, as my friend at this other training, Circling Europe, was saying that he had got so much benefit of really being able to be much closer to people physically. And this now, after almost a year at this training, like I feel it has happened. I don't know how much it has happened or how deep the growth has been, but I definitely feel super comfortable in hugging my friends or like touching both men and women with reassuring touch, which for me was very hard before. And I also noticed that this physical, the body, the general ease of the body has really gone up when being physically close to people. I used to really not enjoy people too close to me, and it has really broadened that capacity. Also, I noticed one other thing is in intimate moments with my wife, when I really used to rush into sexual activity very much based on my fantasies. The course really has helped me to slow down and appreciate her beauty without doing anything with it. And she loves this. And being there with really gentle and slow touch. And not for the sake of like some bullshit saying like slow it down, but like really like slowing it down because it feels good. And having now experienced it so many times in the course, how slowing down everything really makes everything feel much more alive and juicy. And I really feel that this course has, for the first time in my life at least, made me really appreciate not just fucking, but actual intimacy as much or even more than I have loved sex in the past. also what I found really important is understanding trauma more in depth, because there's like so much trauma out there, and like I notice like sometimes people kind of start reacting weirdly in certain situations, and they get this blank glaze in their eyes, and I really noticed that it has made me much more, the course in general has made me much more sensitive to what's happening in people, and being able to spot some changes in their behavior or their being, and actually name those things, and check in before like the other person dissociates. And I really feel much more confident now to bring those things up, and because I have more trust in myself that I can hold space for someone who's really going through something potentially difficult within them. And lastly, as I was thinking, like what I would like to share with you guys is that I really feel like this idea of naming boundaries, I didn't have any idea of this concept like boundaries, and how much I've maybe in the past have not been able to communicate what's right with me and what's not right with me. Like I've probably listened to people talk when I've actually got already bored and having not had enough awareness of that in myself, and therefore suffering not being able to communicate it. And I feel right now like this course really helped me tune in much more, like what's okay for me, what do I want, what I don't want, and also feeling confident in claiming my space and in naming the things that are important without any guilt, but also not arrogantly, but we care. And I really noticed this has a huge quality on my life, like really saying to other people like, hey, listen, I don't want to really listen you speak right now because I need time for myself, but I'll let you know when I'll be okay, and I'd love to do that in maybe an hour. How's that for you? And I noticed like it's really given me much more freedom to enjoy my life and to live with a capital L, and actually as an introverted person to look forward to human communication, because it doesn't feel so limiting of extroverts speaking down on me, but actually feeling like I can actually speak more, or I can engage more with a physical touch, or just like, hey, stop it, I'm not interested in what you say right now, why don't we change this subject? So yeah, it's been an amazing ride, and I feel that it didn't take this Alar and make him like into something like a new Alar, and Alar's my name, and just it just not just is a wrong word, but I really feel it took this guy who was much more contracted, made him a lot more open, and it's not like a final product, but like now this more open version of me is like curiously looking like, oh, what's next? Like how can I improve my intimate relationship and go even deeper with my wife? How we can actually like make our sexuality even more playful, and be able to talk about our desires safely, and without being afraid to name our desires, or afraid that if the other names their desire that I have to do something about it, or they have to do something about it. But really like having those tools to talk what's in our heart, and also as a man to really like feel like I don't know what my sexuality even is. Like I've been conditioned by porn and like my past relationships, and I feel like I have this narrow idea like what sex can even be, and like this course really has made me super curious, like wow, what else might I enjoy that I don't even dare to think about because it has been either taboo or whatever. So yeah, I'm excited for the future. I definitely want to work in other ways with the facilitators, Booster, Rachel. I don't know if David's gonna be around with you guys in the future, and Reed, and like just amazing people there, and like thank you for listening if you did, and if you have some like feeling in you like, oh, this might be it, like have a call with Booster or Rachel, and if you feel like this probably is, then join in. Much love to you, and hope to see you sometimes in the future within Embodied Intimacy community. Bye.